Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in today. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from the campus of Braintree High School in Braintree, Massachusetts. Here on a most beautiful early October day to watch the most beautiful game. That's right, we've got some high school varsity boys soccer action for you today. Today's contest pits the hosting Womps of Braintree High School against the visiting Brookline High Warriors. Brookline coming into this one with a less than stellar record, but a very strong spot in the power rankings. Brookline 3-4 overall so far this season. But the new power rankings for MIAA Division I boys soccer, which just dropped today, had Brookline 6th in the power rankings, which just goes to show the power of strength of schedule, as Brookline has the second highest opponent average rating in all of Division I so far this season. And they only just dropped down to second place, previously had the highest opposing rating. So even though they've had their ups and their downs with wins and losses, they've played some very tough opponents and proven themselves capable of running with the best. Of course, they took on a very highly ranked Needham team that is now ranked second in the ratings after the new ratings today, and fought them to a close one-goal game that could have been a tie had it not been for a controversial take-back of a goal on a free kick due to some kind of violation. I'm still not entirely sure what it was. And then, of course, they had the big comeback win against Newton North at the Kicks for Cancer game. Newton North ranked very high this year as well. I believe 7th in the rankings, just behind Brookline. So it just goes to show how strong teams are in the Bay State Conference this year and what that strength of schedule does for your power ranking. Braintree, meanwhile, coming into this game with a solid 2-2-2 record. 2 wins, 2 losses, and 2 ties. They are ranked 29th in the power rankings. We got about 4.5 minutes before we get this game underway, so according to the pregame scoreboard clock. So let's take a look at the rosters coming into today's game here on a very nice day out in Braintree. The Wi-Fi is having its ups and its downs right now, so anyone who's tuning in, let me know in the live chat if this is coming through really choppy. I'm recording this as always, so if the stream ends up coming through really choppy, I'll upload the fully recorded version later tonight. But in the meantime, there's a game to soon be played, so let's go through the roster really quick. Let's start with the Braintree High Womps. You can see here on the left, blue jerseys, white jersey numbers. And going in order of jersey number for this roster, starting off, we have a senior number 1, C.N. McClory. Next, a junior number 2, Cowan Campos. A junior number 3, Dylan Fernandez. A senior number 4, Andrew McDonough. A senior number 5, Mike Kennedy. A junior number 6, James Monroe. A junior number 7, Ioannis Garcia. A junior number 8, Keiki Silva. A junior number 9, Ryan Smith. A junior number 10, Callum McClory. A junior number 11, Eamon Maloney. A junior number 12, Ben DeMeo. A senior number 13, Callum Williams. A senior number 14, Vinny Reen. A junior number 15, Brandon Almaty. A junior number 16, Kellen Zhu. Junior number 17, Cameron Confalone. A junior number 19, Liam O'Driscoll. A freshman number 20, James Morrison. A junior number 21, Pietro Migliore. A freshman number 22, Michael Sang. A senior number 23, Mike Rufo. A junior number 24, Caleb Louie. A senior number 25, Andrew Madden. A junior number 31, Charlie Kinsella. And a senior number 99, Yoan O'Mahony. Head coach of the Braintree High boys soccer team is Kevin Jameson. Now let's quickly run through the roster for the visiting Brookline High Warriors, seen here. White jerseys, blue jersey numbers. There are a few jersey number changes as they got some new jerseys this year, so pay attention to this one, folks. Starting off, we have a senior, number 4, Rohan Brown. Next, a senior, number 5, Oliver Stern. A sophomore, number 6, Santi Sierra. A freshman, number 7, Jeffrey Dong. A sophomore, number 9, Nico Liteplo. A senior captain, number 10, Eamon Boschel. A senior, number 11, Sebastian Spinelli. A senior, number 12, Gabe Spaggett. A senior, number 13, Henry Ames. A senior, number 14, Jason Ribat. A senior, number 15, Sebastian Cuervo. A junior, number 16, Jack Fitzgerald. A junior, number 17, Grady Ames. A junior, number 18, Ben Speicher. A sophomore, number 19, Travis Applebaum. A sophomore, number 20, Koya Nicoli. A senior, number 22, Liam Alcalay. A senior, number 23, Tony Zhang. A sophomore, number 24, Wally Lawrence. A sophomore, number 27, Jonah Lippman. A junior, number 28, Nate Lockwood. A sophomore, number 30, Jacob Friedman. A senior, number 31, Eli Traub. A sophomore, number 98, Alex Magula. And a senior captain, number 99, Jackson McGee. Head coach of the Brookline High boys soccer team is Kyle Bolu-Jones. That is the roster for Brookline. The scoreboard clock has finished. The two teams just getting ready to get this one underway. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan coming to you live from Braintree High School. Braintree against Brookline, Warriors against Womps. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Goes in, deflecting across. Corralled by Brookline. Shot is in! Shot saved by McGee! Clear is taken by Boschel. Boschel sends a shot through. Boschel scores! Now the team's out on the field ready to get this first half started. For Brookline and for Braintree, both starting number 99 between the pipes today. For Brookline, of course, Jackson McGee, and for Braintree, Yoan O'Mahony. 40 minutes on the clock for this first half. You can see Brookline lined up. They got their strikers, Sebastian Spinelli and Nico Liteplo. They got a line of middies, Wally Lawrence, Eamon Boschel, Jason Ribat, Sebastian Cuervo, and I believe Nate Lockwood. Their back line, Oliver Stern, Jack Fitzgerald, and Tony Zhang. And, of course, between the pipes, Jackson McGee. Braintree to get the opening possession here in the first half. And here we go. We are underway. Braintree moving forward as opposed to most teams who start by passing backwards. And a pass broken up by Sebastian Spinelli. Kicked a little too far for Nico Liteplo to chase down. That's going to be out of bounds. Braintree to throw it in up the far side. Deflected by the foot of Nate Lockwood. Taken away by Jason Ribat. Kicked up. Liteplo lost his footing. Ribat was trying to keep up with the ball. It's knocked out of bounds and goes right back to Braintree. Throw in coming from number 4, Andrew McDonough. Up the line it goes, broken up by Rabat into open space where Lockwood kicks it ahead. Over the head of the defense, it is recovered and booted away. I believe that's number 16, Kellen Zhu, who knocked that one away as Braintree resets along the far side. This is McDonough. Sending it up the line again. The pass broken up by Brookline. Lockwood recovers, gives to Sebastian Cuervo. Now across to Eamon Boschel. Tapping it around in a bit of a triangle, and now Cuervo pushes it forward for Spinelli. Spinelli couldn't keep with the ball due to the defensive interference, and it's taken away, but Spinelli gets on his horse and takes it right back. Pass to the back line to Jack Fitzgerald, who sends it all the way back to the netminder, Jackson McGee. McGee sends it up to his center back, Oliver Stern, who tries to kick it up the middle, walled off, and Stern has to recover. That almost could have been a disastrous turnover as Vinny Reen had a chance at that one. Out to the far side to Rabat, and now back to McGee. McGee winds up and boots this one across midfield over the head of Spinelli. Recovered by Braintree's number 3, Dylan Fernandez. Pops it high in the air, bouncing near the sideline. Staying inbounds, kicked forward by number 9, Ryan Smith. Recovered by Stern and booted back up midfield up to Leteplo. Leteplo dribbling, fends off the defensive pressure from the back, passes up for Spinelli. Spinelli taps to the outside. Lawrence from the near side. Crosser off the head of McDonough and into open space. Kicked forward by number 8, Keiki Silva, but ultimately chased down by Cuervo, passed up to Boschel. Boschel trying to escape the defensive pressure, gets a pass off, but intercepted by number 11, Eamon Maloney. It was number 13, Callum Williams, applying the defensive pressure there, but Brookline has regained possession and reset back with McGee. Neither team getting much offensive pressure going just yet. A lot of times in soccer, you'll see the first half be kind of a feeling out stage as teams wait for their opportunity, but this might be an opportunity for Reen. He's getting sandwiched between defenders. No penalty called, and play is still going on. Braintree still arguing, but the play is still live as Cuervo boots that one upfield to Lawrence, who kicks it forward. Sebastian Spinelli racing, shooting! That one is in! Brookline taking advantage of the confusion. Some great quick ball movement there. Let's check out the instant replay. It all started here with Sebastian Cuervo playing through the non-whistle, boots it up high, and gets it perfectly to Lawrence, who doesn't waste any time, immediately taps it forward, and then Spinelli off to the races, gets behind the defense. Easy money there for the first score of the game. So boy, right as I was talking about the feeling out stage of the first half, Brookline makes it a 1-0 game. In the fourth minute of the game, they score. And now they're keeping up the offensive pressure as that one is knocked out of bounds, and it'll be Brookline ball. So the goal scored by Sebastian Spinelli, assisted by Wally Lawrence. And if this were hockey, you'd give a secondary assist to Sebastian Cuervo. That one launched well high and wide of the net, and this will be a goal kick for Braintree. Yoan O'Mahony sets up and simply kicks it forward to McDonough along the far side. McDonough gets pushed over by Leteplo. That will be a penalty and a free kick for Braintree. Braintree wasting no time setting up. This is Maloney. Big kick knocked down by Lockwood. Recovered by McDonough. McDonough's pass intercepted by Lockwood. Lockwood collects it. Taps it back to Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald boots it up the far side off the head of Maloney, but McDonough slips and Rabat takes advantage, tries a kick, walled off by, I believe, number 13, Callum Williams. Rabat takes it back, trying to work up the far side, cut off by McDonough, and it's booted away. Gets it up to Reen, but Reen's pass off the mark, intercepted by Boschel, but Boschel can't get a pass off. It's taken back by Reen. Pass out to the far side, an attempted pass broken up by Brookline there. I think that might have been Fitzgerald, actually, who came forward to break that up. A long kick across the way, off ahead, couldn't be kicked by Lockwood there. Gets upfield and now a long leading pass off to the races. Number 10 sending through a crosser, broken up by Stern, but 10 recovers it, trying to dribble, spins off his defender. Still in the box, trying to juke, passes back, finds a target, but it deflects too far away. Brookline still trying to break it up, pushes through a shot, and it's saved by McGee. A big rush from number 10, Callum McClory, got things exciting there. Tried to send one through for number 8, Keiki Silva. But ultimately, they just couldn't get the ideal shot off. And as a result, it ends with no score. Brookline resetting, and I think Braintree sent a firm message there that Brookline cannot rest on the laurels of an early lead or of a higher power ranking on paper. Brookline fighting right back. Leteplo tried to get through multiple defenders but couldn't. Kicked away by Maloney. Penalty called against Braintree as McClory's foot too high went up right against Fitzgerald's body. And so that'll be a free kick for Brookline. Zhang back to Stern. Stern up the far side for Lawrence, but bounces too far away from him. Kicked away by Fernandez. Chased down by Bochel and sent to the middle to Cuervo. Cuervo dribbling against multiple defenders. He sends it up to Spinelli. Spinelli dribbling. Couldn't get past the defender, Zhu. And now Zhu dribbling with it. But Spinelli takes it, but he pushes off, and that will be a penalty. Free kick for the Womps. We've got an injured player down now. This is Keiki Silva. Silva getting back up, looking kind of hobbled there, but it looks like he's going to try and walk it off. Fernandez kicks it upfield, off ahead, and it's recovered by Lockwood. Tapped over to Cuervo and then sent to the middle to Bochel. Bochel upfield to Cuervo. That goes off a hand, but no call. Recovered. No, they're still scrumming for it, and it's kicked forward by Braintree. Passes back and forth, and again, Brookline closing up the passing lanes. And Cuervo gets tripped up by McClory and draws the penalty. Cuervo, a long kick, booted away by Zhu. Gets up to Silva. Silva's pass knocked away by Bochel. Goes up to Lawrence. Lawrence running with it. Gets through Fernandez. Gets around Zhu. Lawrence heading up the near side. Tries a crosser. Walled off by Fernandez. But that is going to give us the game's first corner kick. Just under 32 minutes left here in the first half as Brookline sets up for the first corner of the game. Sebastian Spinelli setting up to take this corner kick. Spinelli, of course, had what is currently the game's only goal. Going to try and set up something for another here. Kick sailing in low, and it's headed away by Fernandez. Spinelli simply takes it, starts dribbling. Along the baseline, it goes out of bounds, last touched by Spinelli. Good defense by Fernandez there to force the favorable deflection, as Spinelli was clearly trying to force another corner. O'Mahony sends it up the far side to McDonough. McDonough kicks it up the line, and it's kicked back by Stern. Pass intended for McClory. Cuervo gets tripped up by McDonough there, and that's going to be a penalty. Fitzgerald setting up for the free kick. Passes it back to Stern, who sends it out to the near side to Zhang. Zhang up to Bochel. Bochel taps it back over to Zhang, who keeps it in bounds, sends it upfield, but kicked back by Fernandez. Off a couple heads, sent forward for Reen, but Reen couldn't control it enough, and it's taken away by Fitzgerald, who passes it up to Zhang. Zhang working along the near sideline, scrumming for it, and it's knocked out of bounds. Braintree gets the favorable deflection off the efforts from number 9, Ryan Smith. Thrown into Silva. Silva dribbling. Too many white shirts in there. It's kicked away and recovered by Spinelli. And Smith commits the penalty there. It'll be a free kick for Brookline. Brookline rushed the free kick a bit, and so they'll reset. Zhang gives it to Lawrence, who kicks it over to the middle to Bochel. Bochel boots a leading kick, headed away by Zhu, recovered by Leteplo. Leteplo trying to dribble but lost his footing. It is briefly taken away, but Spinelli chasing after it. Nice spin move to get off a defender, but that time spins himself out of his own shoes. Silva fending off Lawrence to keep with the ball, dribbling through traffic. Nice juke to keep with it. Passes back to Fernandez, who boots it upfield. Off the head of Fitzgerald, who's trying to send it back to the goalie, but it goes the wrong way. McClory recovers it. McClory jukes again, tries to work forward, but runs out of real estate, and it's going to go out of bounds and be a goal kick. Another big offensive push from Callum McClory, as Brookline now working it upfield. This is Cuervo. His pass walled off and kept in bounds and forced it out of bounds, ran out of room. That was a good effort from Williams to disrupt that pass, but just couldn't keep it in bounds. Throw in up the line, bouncing along. It's going to be kicked away by Maloney. Collected by Cuervo. Cuervo sends a kick upfield, gets to Leteplo. Leteplo fends off a couple defenders and takes off, but he is walled off by McDonough. McDonough going up the far side, racing up. He sees a lane, still going up the line. Now sends a crosser. Header! Bounces just wide! Fantastic rush up the line by Andrew McDonough, and a beautiful crosser set up perfectly for the header from Vinny Reen, but the ball just went slightly off angle and bounced wide of the net. Even with a strong keeper like Jackson McGee between the pipes, that had a very good chance of going in. Unlucky bounce for Braintree as Brookline manages to maintain its lead 1-0. But Braintree's here for a fight. Brookline cannot rest on the laurels of their 1-goal lead. Bochel passes it back to Fitzgerald, who boots it upfield, bounces, gets away from Zhu, but it's chased down. No, Fernandez couldn't recover. Leteplo whiffs on the shot. He recovers it, still in the box, losing his footing, taps it back. But it's taken away. Almost a chance for number 17, Grady Ames, but now Braintree working on the counter. Stern kicks it back away, deflected into the air by Ames. Bouncing along, downed by Silva. Silva dribbling, pass up for McClory. McClory walled off by Fitzgerald. Cuervo passes up to Spinelli. Spinelli trying to fight through, but cannot get through Williams. Kick up the line, goes out of bounds. That'll be Brookline ball. About 26:20 on the clock here in the first half. We had a couple of subs coming in on both sides as slightly delayed penalty call there. And now Brookline with the free kick. Up in the air, taken by Lawrence. Lawrence trying to dribble around traffic, moves back and passes it back to Zhang. Zhang up to Bochel. Bochel taps it over to an open Cuervo. Cuervo lifts one down the near side. Lawrence racing after it. Fernandez defending. Lawrence somehow keeps it in bounds, but nobody was there, and it goes out the back line. More substitutions on both sides for Brookline. Number 13, Henry Ames, replaces Nico Leteplo. And for Braintree, number 6, James Monroe. Number 7, Ioannis Garcia. And number 17, Cameron Confalone check into the game. O'Mahony kicks it off the head of Bochel, downed by Spinelli, over to Lawrence. Lawrence up the line for Spinelli, but he couldn't collect the pass, and it's kicked away by Fernandez, out of bounds, Brookline ball. Lawrence throws it in. Ames tried to collect it. It's kicked away by Maloney. Beauchel kicks it back forward off the head of Zhu. Beauchel downs it again, but it's taken away by Williams. Williams disrupted by Beauchel. Beauchel taps it out to Lawrence. Lawrence slices it high in the air, but it's booted away by the Braintree defense. Loose ball taken away by Ames. Pass back to Zhang and across to Stern. Now out the far side to Fitzgerald. Upfield to Ames, tapped back, collected by Cuervo, but stolen away by Silva, but tried too hard on the spin move, and it got away from him there. Fitzgerald throws it in, goes off ahead, booted away again by Maloney. Another throw in from Fitzgerald. Throws it towards the box, off the head of Spinelli, but over the back kick, clears it out. Recovered by Cuervo, sent across to Zhang. Zhang forward to Beauchel. Beauchel tries to tap it through, but there was nobody there to receive that one. McDonough takes it, kick deflected by Cuervo, but gets up to a Braintree player, sent back to McDonough, who sends a leader for Reen. Reen racing up the far side against Stern. Stern disrupts it, but Reen keeping up pursuit. Stern with some help from, I believe, Fitzgerald, as Fitzgerald now boots it away as they worked in tandem to box out Reen on that potential scoring opportunity. Brookline now with the ball, but the pass intercepted, but stolen back by Beauchel. Pass up to Spinelli. Spinelli out to number 22, Liam Alcalay. Back to Cuervo, upfield, off the head of Henry Ames, but no one to chase after that. It's going to be taken easily off a couple hops by O'Mahony. O'Mahony punts it, bounces. McDonough chasing after it, going up the far side. Chased by Alcalay, and Alcalay knocks it out of bounds. Throw in. Aimed at Garcia, tapped back, and a big kick from McDonough, walled down by Fitzgerald, and it does roll out of bounds. Another throw in from McDonough, off the head, I think, of Alcalay. Stern kicks it out of the box. Spinelli controls it, kicks over his head, off the head of Ames, and then Grady Ames hits it high in the air, but that's going to be a high foot, and that will be a penalty call. Free kick from Maloney, sends it out to the near side to Fernandez. Fernandez kicks it towards the net, saved by McGee. It was just a tad bit too high. You saw McDonough crashing towards the net. He was trying to get a header before McGee could catch it. He did get in front of McGee, but the kick just a little too high. Couldn't dribble through traffic there as it's taken by Spinelli. Sends it forward for Alcalay. Alcalay dribbling. Looking, passing, slow roller out to the near side to Lawrence. Lawrence could not juke out his defender. It's taken away by number 17, Cameron Confalone. Kick deflected by Zhang, gets over to Beauchel, tries to send it back to Zhang. Zhang trying to control it and could not corral it before it bounced out of bounds. A little less than 21 minutes left here in the first half. Brookline leads 1-0 off the goal from Sebastian Spinelli, assisted by Wally Lawrence. Fernandez throws this one in, downed, kicked, and Beauchel slides in to kick it over to Cuervo. Cuervo winds and boots it out the far side. Alcalay trying to chase after it, but could not chase it down, and that will be Braintree ball. Substitutions checking in for Braintree, number 12, Ben DeMeo, and number 21, Pietro Migliore. They replace McDonough and Williams. Throwing this one in is going to be number 6, James Monroe. Throws it in for Migliore. And then a further kick up, but deflected the wrong way, and so Cuervo able to take it. Boschel passes it back now to Zhang, who sends it back to McGee. He's got to charge out and kick it due to pressure from Garcia. High one, bounces across midfield, off the head of Maloney, controlled by Grady Ames, sent forward to Henry Ames. Henry Ames dribbling, kicking towards the box. It goes off the head of Maloney, now booted by Lawrence, and that sails through the uprights. But this is a different kind of football, so that's not going to be a score. 4 subs checking back in for Brookline. Number 9, Nico Leteplo. Number 14, Jason Rabat. Number 28, Nate Lockwood, all return to the field. And coming in for the first time, number 20, Koya Nicoli. They replace Spinelli, Lawrence, Boschel, and Grady Ames. Zhang takes that ball away, passes it out to Fitzgerald, who sends it back to McGee. Kicks it back out to Zhang. Zhang dribbling with some space. Now sends it up to Lockwood. Lockwood manages to fend off a couple defenders. Sends a leader. No offsides. Leteplo could not juke out O'Mahony. Leteplo tried to hop over the goalie, but O'Mahony walled off the ball as Leteplo's dribble did not bounce high enough to get past the laid-out netminder. Fantastic effort from Yoan O'Mahony on what very well could have made this a multi-score game. Just over 18 minutes left in the half now, and it's still just a 1-goal game. Fernandez kicks it, bouncing, and it's sliced in the air by Cuervo. It's corralled by Silva, but his kick is deflected. It's going to bounce out of bounds and be Braintree ball. Not Confalone throwing it in, as we've got another Braintree substitution, number 25, Andrew Madden, replacing Kellen Zhu on the back line. It's very rare that you see a center back get subbed out in soccer. But Braintree clearly has faith in the depth of their defense. Fernandez throws it in towards the box. Off ahead and kicked, and that's in! Scored by number 19, I believe, Liam O'Driscoll. So Liam O'Driscoll off the throw-in from Fernandez and off a deflection up high. Manages to kick that one in from point-blank range, and we're all squared at 1 apiece with just over 17 minutes left here in the half. Boy, what a pendulum swing of momentum. Brookline so close to making it a 2-score game, and then seconds later, Braintree ties it up. Brookline trying to work it upfield. This is Henry Ames firing a long shot, but it's taken off the bounce by O'Mahony. O'Mahony boots it across midfield, off the foot of O'Driscoll, kicked away by Fitzgerald, deflects off the foot of Henry Ames, who's keeping up his pursuit of the ball against Maloney, who kicks it upfield. Controlled by Migliori, sent it back. Monroe tried to send it forward, blocked. And that time it was Maloney who kicked it forward. That pass intercepted by Silva, sends it up. Now out to the near side. Controlled, passed to the middle to Silva. His kick walled off by Brookline, controlled by Fernandez. Fernandez pass gets up to number 12, DeMeo. A couple passes back to Confalone. Swings it all the way out to the far side to O'Driscoll. Kick over his head to send it forward. Headed away by Stern. DeMeo controls it again, pops it up in the air. Off a bounce, and Stern wisely heads it towards his own net, knowing that he could pass it back to McGee. That's a veteran play right there. Might seem small, but it's normally not your instinct as a soccer player to send a header towards your own net. Brookline works it upfield. It's controlled by Lockwood. Lockwood tries to send it out the far side, but taken away by Monroe. Sent up the line too far, and it's going to be chased down by McGee himself. Kicked across to the near side to Zhang. Zhang up the line to Alcalay. Alcalay couldn't get it past Confalone, who takes it, sends it back to Fernandez. Upfield off the head of Garcia, and it's recovered by Cuervo. Out to the far side to Rabat, who sends a long leading kick. That's a little too long, and it's going to be taken off one hop by O'Mahony. O'Mahony throws it out to the near side to Fernandez. Fernandez dribbles forward, kicks it upfield off the head of Stern. Bouncing across midfield, it's kicked back by Maloney. Out to the far side, Migliore and Rabat both chasing. And it's out of bounds, Brookline ball. 14.5 minutes left here in the first half. Score tied at 1 apiece. Throw in. Deflects back and forth. Several ricochets, and it's controlled by Nicoli. Nicoli sending it up the line for Henry Ames. Ames dribbling against Maloney. Tight coverage. Couldn't force it through, and it's going to be kicked out of bounds by Madden. A flurry of substitutions on both sides for Brookline. Excuse me. Boschel, Spinelli, and Lawrence all check back into the game for Brookline. A few subs for Braintree as well, which I'll pick up as we go. Throw in. Bounced a little too far away. It's kicked away. Headed down by Cuervo. Nicoli recovers it. Pass back to Boschel. Boschel to the outside to Lawrence. Lawrence kicks it towards the box. Kicked away, but Spinelli got a foot on it, but he sends it high and wide. Goal kick for O'Mahony. 13 minutes left in the half. Bouncing along. And pass goes up to Garcia to the outside. Tries to go back to Garcia, disrupted by Fitzgerald. Garcia couldn't quite recover it inbounds, and it's Brookline ball. Or is it? It is Brookline ball. I thought I was going nuts because I swore I saw the official pointing Brookline's way. So after that brief spell of confusion, Brookline throws it in, deflects off a couple players, and ultimately Braintree controls it. Sends it up to Migliore. Upfield kicked away by Zhang. Boschel sends it back to Stern. Popped up in the air. Off the head of Leteplo. And I think they called the penalty on Leteplo for interference anyhow. Maloney setting up for the free kick. Boots it. Off the head of Lawrence. Deflects back and forth. Zhang couldn't quite kick it out as a deflected off a back foot, but Stern kicks it away. Leteplo going to be whistled for another penalty there for interfering with Madden. And this will be another free kick for the Womps. Maloney launches it, and it's going to be taken out of bounds for a goal kick. 4 more subs checking in for Braintree. I see number 5, Mike Kennedy, number 10, Callum McClory, number 14, Vinny Reen, and number 9, Ryan Smith, all checking back into the game, although I think for Kennedy this is his first time out on the field today. McGee sends it out to Fitzgerald on the far side. It's given back to McGee. McGee rushed into his kick by McClory. Lawrence tried to head it forward, but it's just going to bounce out of bounds. Braintree ball. Throw in to Smith. Pass to the middle to number 20, James Morrison. Sent back and then upfield to Reen. Back to Williams. Out to the far side for Kennedy. Kennedy tries a kick. Walled down by the Brookline defense. And controlled by the Warriors. Or is it? It's a scrum for it, and it's booted away by Cuervo. Recovered, I think, by Monroe, and it's kicked upfield, taken by McGee off one hop. 9.5 on the clock here in the first half. We are tied at 1. And Braintree has really come alive in the second half of this first half. McGee, upfield, headed away by Maloney. Up to Smith. Smith being chased by Lawrence, gets a pass away to Morrison. Morrison's pass misses Williams, but goes back to Monroe. Booted upfield, Reen chasing after it. Reen fires a shot, saved by McGee. Good hustle by Reen, but couldn't get any kind of fancy angle on that shot, and he wasn't going to get that past a goalie like McGee. Leteplo trying to fight through, but too many blue shirts in there. It's kicked away by Monroe. Recovered by Spinelli. Pass to Lawrence and back to Spinelli. Resets back in their own end to Stern. Back up to Spinelli. Tapped back to Zhang. Zhang turns around, weaves around the official, and passes it back to McGee. Out to the far side to Fitzgerald. Up the line. Cut off by Kennedy. Could not keep it in bounds. Throw in for Brookline. Throw in to Lockwood. Tapped back to Cuervo. Cuervo. Back to Stern and across to Zhang. Zhang to the middle to Cuervo. Cuervo up the middle to Lockwood. Lockwood out to the far side and passed back to Fitzgerald. Gives it to Stern. Now out to Zhang, back to Stern. Stern boots it off the head of Madden. And it goes the wrong way off the foot of Williams. Spinelli winds and fires, and it's caught by O'Mahony. A surprise deep shot there from Spinelli, but O'Mahony was not caught off guard. Punts it, goes off the head of Morrison. Now kicked over the head of Nicoli and out of bounds, Braintree ball. Throw in. Pass intercepted by Cuervo. Kicks it through traffic up to Leteplo. Taps it for Spinelli. Spinelli dribbling. Trying to fend off the defense of Williams. Taps it back to Lawrence, who gives, misses. Spinelli recovered by Leteplo. Loses it off the spin, but Spinelli there to recover it. Spinelli sends a crosser through. Booted away out of bounds by Maloney. 6.5 left here in the first half. Lawrence to throw it in deep in the Braintree end. Coming in high. Bounces down. They try and clear. Leteplo keeps it. Leteplo turns around. Crosser over everyone's head and bounces away. Chased down by Nicoli. Defended by Monroe. Nicoli tries to turn. Working along the baseline. Knocked loose, but recovered by Cuervo. Pass back to Bochel, who pops it up in the air. Spinelli downs it, but bounces too far away, and Williams clears it. Off the head well of McClory, and it's booted upfield for Reen. Broken up by Fitzgerald, and Stern kicks it out of bounds. Good counter maneuver by Braintree to instantly flip the field there. Substitutions on both sides. McDonough and Silva checking back in for Braintree. For Brookline, number 31, Eli Traub takes the field for the first time. And they rushed that throw in a bit, so they're going to have to do it again. McDonough throws it in for Silva. Silva, kick walled by Lockwood. It'll be a Braintree throw in again. McDonough throws in off the head of Zhang. Bouncing along, Spinelli. Trying to control it, but cannot. Bouncing too high. McDonough takes it, but Spinelli still fighting. Goes upfield, but a penalty is called as Spinelli and McDonough were having a physical battle there. Free kick from Lawrence goes to Cuervo. Over to Boschel. Boschel out the near side to Lawrence. Knocked out of bounds by McDonough. Throw in for Brookline. Lawrence throws it in quick off the head of Leteplo. Leteplo corrals it. Leteplo pushed over in the box. No call. Leteplo still fighting, and it's cleared out. Now Reen trying to kick it upfield, but his kick deflected, and it's taken by Stern. Stern sends it up for Cuervo and up to Boschel. Boschel walled off by Silva. Boschel sends it back to Zhang. Upfield, it's collected by Spinelli. Spinelli trying to weave his way through, gets tripped up by Kennedy. And that's going to be a penalty. So Brookline will have a free kick inside the 35. Three and a half minutes on the clock. I assume soon the scoreboard clock will be frozen for stoppage time. Setting up for the free kick, we see Spinelli and Zhang. Looks like Spinelli's going to take this one. Launches it low and taken off one hop by O'Mahony. Punted across midfield, deflected to the outside. Taken by Kennedy. Kennedy sending a leader aimed at McClory, cut off by Stern. Stern boots it, headed down. Silva pass to the middle to Williams, but taken away by Boschel. Sent back to Zhang, upfield to Lockwood. Lockwood couldn't fight through Williams, but Cuervo takes it back. Cuervo weaving around, passes it back to Zhang, now up to Boschel. Boschel forward to Leteplo. Leteplo couldn't keep with it, and it's kicked away by Williams. Zhang chases it down with McClory on his back, and McGee boots it away. Deflects back to Lockwood. Lockwood kicking a leader, bouncing along. Leteplo racing after it, couldn't get there in time, and he hits O'Mahony, the goalie, and that is going to be a yellow card on Leteplo. Boy, and you understand aggressively fighting for a goal, but I mean, rules are rules. If you run into the goalie, regardless of malicious intent or not, that's going to be a big penalty. O'Mahony was holding his hand after that one, but it looks like he's okay, which is good to see. You never want to see an injury regardless of which team you're rooting for. So yellow card assessed to Leteplo as O'Mahony kicks this one, bouncing, downed by Zhang, and up. Now intercepted by Kennedy, but taken back by Lockwood. Pass to the outside to Traub. Clock frozen at 2 minutes on the scoreboard. We are in stoppage time here in the first half. Pass out to the near side to Zhang, and back to McGee. McGee boots it upfield off the head of Maloney. It bounces out to the far side. Traub trying to chase after it. Now fighting along the sideline, gets the favorable deflection, and it'll be a throw-in for Brookline. Throw in goes back. Another collision goes out of bounds as he tried to throw it in, I believe, for Henry Ames. Throw in goes back to Cuervo, who slices it up in the air, and it's booted away by Williams, headed back by Stern, downed by Lockwood, passed out to Bochelle. Bochelle takes off down the near side, sends a pass through for Spinelli. Spinelli has to pass back to Zhang. Now across to an open Cuervo in the middle. Cuervo had a little trouble corralling the ball, but gets a pass up to Spinelli. Spinelli kick goes off of Maloney's foot. And we're not going to have time for the corner kick, as that is the end of the first half. Our score at half, the Brookline Warriors 1, the Braintree Womps 1. Brookline got the first score just 3 minutes into the game off of this nice play that we're seeing on the replay. Cuervo with a long lifter up to midfield, and then Lawrence with a one-touch leader pass perfectly placed for Spinelli, who raced up and merely kicked it past a rushing out goalie to give Brookline at the time a 1-0 lead, but Braintree has fought back well, and off a goal from Liam O'Driscoll has tied us up at 1 apiece. During this halftime intermission, I'd like to take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Education Foundation. The Brookline Education Foundation raises funds to help promote growth and innovation among Brookline educators, growth that can then be passed on to the children of this community. For over 40 years, this foundation has given out a variety of grants across the educational landscape. These include Idea Lab grants for teachers that want to present their students with new and exciting projects, and teacher grants for educators that want to further develop their own skills to bring to the classroom. Many initiatives which have become staples in the public schools of Brookline started as BEF grants. They support literacy education training, new methods in STEM education, project-based learning, mentoring of new principals and superintendents, and collaborative work around diversity, equity, and inclusion, just to name a few. Visit brooklinefoundation.org or call 617-232-3846 to find out how you can help support our town's educators and, through them, our students. Once again, that's brooklinefoundation.org or call 617-232-3846. And remember, as always, you can go down to the description section of this video to find that link and phone number for our local charity spotlight. You can also go down to the description section to find a link for the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club if you would like to help financially support the Brookline High soccer program. But for now, it is halftime. Brookline 1, Braintree 1. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, live at Braintree High School in Braintree, Massachusetts. Going to take a brief break and mute the mic, but I'll be back with the second half of this ball game. Stay tuned. Hello again, everybody. Back on the mic, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Braintree High School in Braintree, Massachusetts. Here to bring you the second half of today's varsity boys soccer contest between the visiting Brookline High Warriors and the hosting Braintree High Womps. We are all squared at 1 apiece going into the second half of this ball game. A fresh 40 minutes on the clock. And we will see which team comes out stronger here to start the second half. Brookline came out like a house on fire at the start of the first half and scored in just the 4th minute of the game, or maybe it was the 3rd. It was either the 3rd or the 4th. But then Braintree, in the back half of that first half, came out with a lot of strong chances of their own, one of which produced the score that tied the game. Brookline's goal came from Sebastian Spinelli, assisted by Wally Lawrence. For Braintree, it was Liam O'Driscoll who scored the equalizer. Brookline gets the opening possession of the second half, and we are underway. Off the deflection, it is Nate Lockwood who's passing it back to Tony Zhang. Zhang couldn't get a pass past Vinny Reen, and it's taken away by the Womps. Pass to the middle to Mike Kennedy, and then back. And now up the near side to Andrew McDonough, who is racing upfield. Braintree wasting no time. Crosser got a little bit through, but not enough, and it's booted out of bounds by Oliver Stern. McDonough, a quick throw in to Kennedy. Kennedy sends a crosser through, deflected by Zhang, but chased down by McClory, and Callum McClory couldn't quite get a shot off there as Brookline clears it out of bounds. Braintree coming out strong to start the half, and Vinny Reen spins off his defender to get a wide open chance, pops it up in the air for a crosser, bouncing along and out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Brookline. So 2 big offensive pushes back to start this second half by the Womps. And now McGee with the goal kick. Off the head of Lockwood, kicked forward by Eamon Boschel. But nobody there, and it's booted away by Dylan Fernandez. Goes off Zhang's head the wrong way, and Stern boots it back upfield. Brookline corrals it, but it's kicked away from Wally Lawrence. Covered by the Womps. Pass goes over to Keiki Silva. Tries to pass through, broken up by Jason Rabat, and Sebastian Cuervo swoops in and takes it. Tries to kick a leader, but it's walled off by Eamon Maloney. And Maloney walls off another pass. Now a couple quick moves, and it moves out to the near side to Kennedy. Kennedy met by Jason Rabat. It's knocked out of bounds. And it is Braintree ball. A bit of brief confusion there, but McDonough now throws it in. Penalty is going to be called on Brookline's Jack Fitzgerald and give the Womps a free kick from about the 25-yard line. This is going to be a very interesting chance for Braintree. With the limited angle that Maloney's going to have to shoot, you imagine he's going to go for a crosser, but he might shoot it. He does go for the crosser. Off a head up in the air, off another head, and wide of the net, and it's going to be a goal kick for Brookline. Braintree tried to go for a bit of a 2-header strategy there as Maloney's kick went out to the far post, but they couldn't get enough on either header, and it ends up going wide. Lawrence's kick deflected by Fernandez. Now stolen away. That's Nico Leteplo trying to fight through. Leteplo breaks through the defense. Leteplo sends a crosser walled off by Maloney, who's made a number of great defensive plays today. Now taken up the far side. Kicked upfield off the head of Stern. Collected by Cuervo. Cuervo collides with Ryan Smith and turns around. Now passes over to the middle to an open Boschel. Boschel sends it up the middle, gets to Spinelli. Spinelli now sends it forward. Wall down, but taken away. Leteplo off to the races. The defender slips. Leteplo collides hard with McDonough and loses the ball. Fernandez kicks it away. Bouncing along, tapped forward. Big chance. Shot is saved by McGee. Just barely disrupted defensively by Jack Fitzgerald. Forced a bad shot by McClory. Couldn't quite get the look he wanted. We saw hard collisions on both sides, but to be honest, personally, I think I agree with both non-calls both ways. Even as physical as it was, you know, close enough to playing the ball that I wouldn't have ruled it a penalty myself. But of course, it doesn't matter what I would say, because ultimately what matters is what the officials say. This one taken away by Silva. Pass up to Vinny Reen, trying to send one through for McClory. It gets to McClory. McClory gets tangled up with Zhang, and he is going to draw the penalty call. And they're going to say outside the box. And so I believe this is going to be a free kick in a bit of no man's land for McClory. And they decide to assess a yellow card to Tony Zhang on that play, as he got tangled up with Callum McClory, inhibited the forward player's progress, as it looked like it was going to be a very good scoring chance. So this is going to be a free kick just inside the 20-yard line. And this is going to be a bit of no man's land on the shot for, on the free kick for Braintree, as they're going to have a wall of defenders right in front of whoever takes the kick. So they're going to have to decide how they want to play this one, as this is going to be kicked from about the 18-yard line. And so Brookline's going to set up a wall of about 4 defenders just inside the box, as close as they are legally allowed. Severely limits the potential angle. Looks like it's going to be Kennedy that's going to take this kick. We'll see what they decide to do here. Here's the kick, and he sails it high, and it goes off the crossbar of the field goal uprights. And that is going to be a goal kick for Brookline. So even with the card, you almost have to kind of consider that a smart foul by Zhang, as that would have been a very big scoring chance for McClory if he had broken past him and chased down the ball. There's always a chance McGee would have made a big save, but we'll never know, because Zhang disrupted him and forced a bad angle free kick that did not work out. Hard trip there as Fernandez went flying over the back of Lawrence, and so that's going to be a penalty and a free kick for the Womps. Fernandez kicks it upfield, off the head of Reen. A nice setup down the far side for Smith. Smith tries to kick, but he's walled. Tries another kick through. Almost gets through to McClory, but it's kicked away by Stern. Good defense from the sub number 12, Gabe Spaggett, who has taken over for Zhang after the yellow card. Tangled up both sides, and they decide neither of them committed the penalty, and play continues. Smith passes back to Fernandez. Fernandez gets tripped up, and that's going to be another free kick. And we've got a yellow card assessed now to Eamon Boschel. So a couple of Brookline players coming off due to yellow cards. Number 17, Grady Ames, going to sub in his place. Might have been for the penalty, but it also might have been just for saying something to the official. I think it might have been that. I'm not sure if Brookline thought Fernandez was selling a bit or something on those trip ups, but I mean, that's part of the game. As Fernandez kick deflected, downed by Cuervo, passed up, kicked forward by Lawrence, bouncing along, racing through, heading it forward was Leteplo. Maloney boots it high in the air, off the head of Maloney. Silva pops it up in the air, collides with Lawrence, but keeps the ball, and he passes it up a little too far for Smith, and that's going to roll out of bounds. Almost 10 minutes into the half, still tied at 1. Pass goes back to Fernandez. Lifted high, and Stern whiffs on his clearing kick, and it's recovered by McClory. McClory touches the pass to Kennedy. Kennedy's shot is in! Mike Kennedy assisted by Callum McClory. And Braintree takes advantage and takes the lead. A botched clearing kick allowed Braintree to get on the attack there, and it left Brookline kind of overloaded on the far side of the box as Kennedy raced back in, realizing that it wasn't going to be a clear, found an open spot around the middle, leaning towards the near side, and a good find by McClory and a good shot to the near side post gives the Womps a 2-1 lead. So a very different outlook on the game now as Braintree has taken the 2-1 lead over Brookline. We are just over 10 minutes into the second half. Still plenty of soccer left to be played as a penalty called for the over the back on Braintree. As Brookline has now got to generate some offensive chances here. Free kick sailing off ahead and just deflects away from the feet of the Brookline advance, and it's cleared out. Fitzgerald races up and passes it to Rabat. Rabat trying to gain the edge, sends in a crosser, finds his man, shot is walled. Cleared away by Kennedy, and it goes up to McClory, who touches it up for Reen. Now Reen off to the races, racing with Stern. They collide, and no penalty call as it goes out of bounds. As they were at about the same spot. Understandable no call there. But now Braintree wasting no time getting back on the attack. They try and cross it to the box. It's kicked away. Recovered by Silva. Silva winds and fires, walled off by Grady Ames. Now Fernandez collides with Ames. Fernandez lost track of the ball, and he lost it out of bounds, and so it's going to be a throw-in for Brookline. Throw in to Cuervo. Cuervo gets hugged by Silva. Silva pushes a bit on Cuervo after it was over. And we've got a card now assessed to Keiki Silva. And so he will come out. No love lost between these two teams so far today. Subbing in will be number 12, Ben DeMeo. And so this will be a free kick. It looks like, I think it's being taken by Wally Lawrence. It is taken by Lawrence. It's booted high off the head of one of the Womps and into free space where it's kicked up by Reen. And now McClory boxing out to take the ball. Kicks it forward for himself, racing upfield. Fires a shot, but didn't have the angle, and it's an easy save for McGee. McGee punts it across midfield Off ahead. Bouncing. And Lockwood takes it. Lockwood sends it forward for Leteplo. Leteplo turning around, dribbling, kicked away by Kennedy. Now there's going to be a penalty assessed, and that's going to be called against Reen, as I think they're going to say he went off the back of Fitzgerald there as they were both chasing after the ball. Cuervo takes the free kick, sends it out the far side, off ahead. Off another one, bounces over to Rabat, who slices it up towards the box. Crashing! It's knocked away from the goalie, but he couldn't keep it in bounds. Or did he? And they're still playing. Leteplo passes, shot, saved by O'Mahony, but it's loose. It's kicked away. My goodness. There were a couple of times where it looked like that play was going to stop, but it just kept going. Credit to both teams for playing until the whistle. But ultimately, Braintree comes out on top in that sequence. As this one headed away, a shot spins wide. Lawrence couldn't get that one right off his foot, and it bounces wide. .26-20, about the time left on the clock here in the second half. As that goal kick deflects a couple times, taken by DeMeo. Pass to the outside to Smith, back to Fernandez, who boots it upfield. Bouncing, headed away by Stern. Cuervo taps it back for Spaggett, whose pass is walled off and taken. And Garcia gets tripped up. Yoannis Garcia draws the penalty there. That'll be a free kick. It's going to be inside the 30, but past the 25. There was a brief bit of confusion between the officials on whether it was on the 25 or 26-yard line, but ultimately they decide on the 26. Kennedy, who got the go-ahead score, setting up for the free kick. His kick goes through, and it goes over the bar. So this will be a goal kick for Brookline. McGee boots it upfield, bouncing along, knocked by McDonough, booted high in the air by DeMeo. Deflected and controlled by Lawrence. Lawrence sends it back to McGee. McGee out to the near side to Fitzgerald. To the middle to Cuervo, up to Lockwood. Lockwood, ball got away from him for a bit. He tries to chase it down, collides with DeMeo, keeps the ball, and sends it out to the far side to Lawrence. Lawrence dribbling, fakes out his defender, sends it into the box, headed away. Corralled by Smith. Kicked upfield. Gets to Garcia. Garcia touches it to the outside to Smith. Smith forward to Garcia. Garcia tries a pass, intercepted by Lockwood. Lockwood running, sends a leading kick. A race for the ball, but Maloney's going to get there first, clear it away. Gets up to Kennedy, who lets it through his legs so he can chase after it and kick it upfield. And it goes off Fitzgerald and out of bounds. Braintree has been pulling some very slick moves on those leading kicks. You saw that play where Kennedy let it slip through his legs so he could chase after it. We've seen a couple of guys spin off their man on long, high kicks so they could chase after it. Braintree has been showing some really good technique and anticipation of balls sent their way in that respect. And Brookline's got to try and find something similar if they want to set themselves up. Leteplo's kick, not quite enough on it, and it's taken away by Zhu. Sent forward, but cut off by Lawrence. Lawrence sends it forward, finds Leteplo. Leteplo dribbling, sending it forward for Spinelli. Cut off by Fernandez, though. Fernandez boxing out Spinelli. He tries to fight through and cannot as it rolls out of bounds and will be a goal kick. Little less than 23 minutes on the clock here in the second half. O'Mahony, cross midfield, off the head of Garcia. And Spaggett kicks it back. Tapped up in the air by Bochelle, headed forward. And now kicked away. Deflects a couple times. Spaggett taps it forward to Cuervo. Cuervo sends a long leader down the near side. Rabat chasing after it. Maloney kicks it away. And it's going to be sent up by Monroe. Number 7, Jeffrey Dong, trying to corral it. But it's taken by McDonough, kicked up field. Stern recovers it, kicks it back. Cuervo pops it up in the air. Off the head, once again, of Maloney. Taken away by Cuervo, sent out to the far side to Lawrence. Lawrence moving up the far side, cuts back, sends a crosser, walled off by Zhu, recovered by Cuervo. Cuervo sends a higher crosser, goes off the head of a defender, headed down by Rabat, kicked over the head by Maloney, bouncing over to Fernandez, who's going to boot it out. Spaggett trying to box out Garcia, and he fails. Garcia keeps it in bounds, and now he's off to the races. Garcia trying to juke, sends a pass through, finds an open man. Williams tries an extra pass, and he didn't have enough on it, and Fitzgerald kicks it away. Williams tried to get a little fancy with the extra pass, but couldn't get enough on it. It's lost out of bounds, and it's going to be Braintree ball. As 2 subs come in for Braintree now, Silva and Madden check back into the game, replacing Zhu and Williams. Monroe throws it into Silva. Knocked away. Monroe kicks it. Off the head of Garcia. That's going to fly out of bounds. Just under 21 minutes left. Throw in goes off the head of Monroe. Pass from Silva forward, finds his man, fighting through, walled off by the last line of defense in Stern, as Confalone, who now recovers the ball again, had a big chance. Now he gets cut off by Dong. Sent up the line to Lawrence, and now up to Spinelli. Spinelli with some space to dribble. He takes off Fernandez, chasing him down from behind. And they get wrestled to the, Fernandez gets dragged to the ground, and penalty is going to be called on Spinelli for locking up Fernandez there. Fernandez kicks it, knocked down by Lawrence. Silva had it for a second, but swooping in and taking it is Cuervo. Cuervo pass to Lawrence on the far side. Lawrence surveying, passes to the middle to Dong. Dong trying to send one down the near side. It's knocked away by McDonough. Leteplo had it for a second, but too many blue jerseys. It's cleared out. Silva passes out to McDonough, who sends it upfield. Collected by Garcia, but stolen away by Stern. Pass just past McDonough, gets up to Rabat. Knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be Brookline ball. Couple substitutions, Liam Alcalay and Nate Lockwood coming into the game as they replace Gabe Spaggett and Jason Rabat, it appears. Dong to throw it in. Over the head, deflects back and forth. Leteplo trying to gain the edge. Gains a bit of an edge here, but he's running out of room. Sends a crosser, walled off, and it's going to roll out the sideline. Braintree gets a bit of a lucky spin there to draw a throw-in instead of a corner kick. 18.5 minutes on the clock here as Dong getting ready for another throw-in. Sends it towards the box, a little too high, bouncing along, and Fernandez boots it away. Downed by Alcalay into open space, and it's O'Driscoll who gets there first. O'Driscoll boots it across midfield off the head of Stern, and it's corralled by Bochelle. Bochelle waits and passes to Lockwood. Lockwood tries to send a leader. That's going to bounce way too far, and that's going to be scooped up by O'Mahony. O'Mahony punts it across midfield, knocked down, and And I think we got an off-ball penalty called against Brookline as Fitzgerald wrapped up O'Driscoll. And so this will be a free kick for the Womps. Maloney kicks it up to Monroe, now over to Silva. Silva dribbling, looking, sends it out to Monroe. Monroe sends a crosser through, off the foot of Stern, into the air, sideways off ahead, and then Lawrence finally boots it out. Bouncing along, Leteplo takes the ball, racing upfield, sending a leader down the near side, racing for it, Spinelli! Spinelli lost track of the ball, and it's booted out of bounds by Maloney. It was a big chance for Brookline as one of the Braintree defenders slipped and fell, but as Maloney got the ball, his feet went forward and the ball didn't, and he just lost track of it. Spinelli throws it in for Boschel. Boschel boots it up high in the air towards the box, but nobody there. It's headed away, recovered by Lockwood and tapped back to Alcalay. Alcalay up to Lockwood. Lockwood collides with a defender, and it's taken by O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll's pass deflects off of Confalone, and it's recovered by Stern. Stern fakes and now passes to the outside to Lawrence. Lawrence dribbles to the middle to Cuervo. Now back out to Lawrence. Lawrence kicks it, goes off ahead towards the box, and that's going to bounce out of bounds. And that is going to be a Brookline corner as it went off the head of a Braintree defender. Brookline with a good chance at the equalizer here with about 15.5 minutes left in this game. Kick comes in low, headed back out, back towards the kicker, who I believe is Spinelli. Launched back into the box a second time, and that one is gone wide. Almost a chance, I believe, for Leteplo, but just like Braintree, who had a similar miss back in the first half, Brookline's deflection just goes wide. 15 minutes left. The goal kick knocked down. Cuervo taps it to Lawrence. Lawrence trying to keep the ball, which is bouncing a little uncooperatively, but he does take it. Passes to Lockwood. Lockwood dribbles up, sends it to the near side to Dong. Dong dribbling, gets around a defender. Crosser through, shot walled by Maloney. Silva chasing down the ball, trying to fend off Spinelli. Gets tripped up, and Spinelli pushed him a little bit after that call. There's been some pushing back and forth between those two players throughout the day, and Spinelli has got to be careful with those push-offs. Even if you think your opponent's sold, you know, if the ref doesn't see that, they're sure going to see you pushing him afterwards in frustration, so you can't let your emotions get the best of you there. And Braintree pushing it forward, but it's going to be booted away by Alcalay off the head of Silva. Corralled by Migliore. Pass to the middle to DeMeo. Sent forward, deflects awkwardly off Alcalay. Sent back to McGee, who boots it out the near side and out of bounds. 6 subs checking in now for Braintree: McDonough, Kennedy, McClory, Smith, Williams, and Reen, all back on the field for the Womps. 13.5 left here in the second half. Braintree still leads Brookline 2-1. And again, they break off the man for a big chance. Pass broken up, though, at the last line. And now Brookline working on the counter, and an uncooperative bounce results in a handball for Leteplo. He was trying to tap it the other way. It just went off his foot wrong and bounced right up into his hand. And it's been that kind of day for Brookline. A lot of unfortunate bounces as this kick is caught out of the air easily by McGee. Punts it high off the head of Maloney, off another Braintree head, and it's going to bounce all the way up to Reen, who passes it back to Kennedy. Kennedy passed through the middle, broken up by Stern, recovered by Smith. Smith battling, loses the ball to Boschel, who pops it up in the air. It's corralled by Monroe. Monroe's kick hits his teammate right in the stomach and bounced out of bounds. Kennedy looks okay. And Braintree's going to call timeout. Clock frozen with the timeout. 12 minutes, 13 seconds to go here in the second half. Braintree leads Brookline 2-1. And, you know, I got to say, the one area where Braintree has really been excelling over Brookline so far today has been their judgment of the long ball. Braintree's players have done a really good job being in the exact right spot whenever there's like a high goal kick or a long clearing kick, of making sure their players are right there and are able to get a deflection that sets them up to move forward. Brookline, a lot of times they'll kick something high and forward, and there'll be no white jerseys anywhere in the vicinity. And in some cases, yes, Brookline is probably waiting for Braintree to deflect it, hoping it'll go back to them. But A, if you're not disrupting the deflection, the odds of it going in the direction you want are not high. And B, you take away your chance to impact where it goes, or potentially even draw an over the back penalty if you can get into a position and back down against a defender. So certainly something Brookline will have to work on adjusting, if not now, then down the line of this season. But for now, Brookline has got actually 14 minutes and 13 seconds on the clock left in this one. Out of the timeout, it's going to be a throw-in for Brookline after that out-of-bounds bounce off of Kennedy's stomach, which we can laugh about because Kennedy is okay. Dong throws it in for Cuervo, but it's headed away immediately by Reen. And so that'll be another throw-in for Brookline. And a substitution, Jason Rabat checks in replacing Jeffrey Dong, so he will take the throw-in instead. Throw-in up the line, and it's lost out of bounds. Tough spot to go with a throw-in, but it's lost out of bounds, and it'll be Braintree ball. Maloney throws it up, bouncing. Goes off of McClory, and it's recovered by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald manages to pass away from the pressure to Cuervo. Cuervo sends it up the line, deflects off ahead. Spinelli tries to tap it for Leteplo, but it's kicked away by Williams. Recovered by Lawrence. Lawrence pops it towards the box. Header by Spinelli, saved by O'Mahony. That was a big chance for Sebastian Spinelli, but just couldn't get enough force on that header, and it was corralled by O'Mahony. Boschel controls this ball, passes it back to Alcalay, back up to Boschel, who lost track of the ball. It's taken away by the Womps. Silva kicks it upfield, cut off by Alcalay, recovered by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald sends it forward, intercepted by Kennedy. And with a little help from Silva, he keeps control of it. Silva now takes it. Silva working towards the near side. Defense too much, and it's taken away by Rabat. Rabat off to the races, sends a pass wide of his target. It's kicked away by Madden. Headed forward by Alcalay, then Cuervo, downed by Bochel, tapped for Lockwood. Lockwood cut off by Kennedy, and then Williams takes it. Williams gets spun around by the defense, and it's taken by Spinelli, pass to Bochel. Bochel taps it forward for Spinelli. Spinelli fakes, dribbles, trying to gain the edge on Monroe. Crosser bouncing through, downed, kicked up in the air and out of the box, and a hard push in the back, and that's going to draw a penalty on Rabat. Kennedy down on the ground. And it's going to be an injury substitution. Or no, it isn't. Kennedy is fine. I've realized something having watched a little more soccer covering these high school games as Braintree tries to move things up. Kennedy trying to race, but he can't. It's kicked away by Stern. I'll talk about it the next stoppage, but McDonough kicks it up. Alcalay kicks it over his head. And a hard collision penalty on Braintree. And you see, that's what I was talking about. If you go for the ball, you as an offensive team, you run the chance of drawing that penalty. But here it's taken away by Braintree. Silva sends it forward to Reen. Reen dribbling, racing to the near side, trying to gain the edge against Fitzgerald. Turns around, looking for a pass, taps it for Kennedy. Kennedy running out of room, keeps it in bounds in the corner. Stolen away by Rabat, and Rabat gets the favorable deflection out of bounds. So what I was saying, one thing I've noticed as a pattern about soccer is there's kind of a tell whenever a player is trying to sell that they're hurt in order to get more of a penalty, which, I understand is just part of the game. I'm not hating, for a little bit of gamesmanship. All teams do it. But I've noticed a pattern whenever they're doing it. It's whenever they roll over. Because if you're actually hurt somewhere, you're not going to roll over because that would just hurt more. So whenever you see a player rolling over in pain, they're not actually hurt. Or like 90% chance they're not actually hurt. Scrum for the ball, and Alcalay cleared out. Kicked up by Cuervo, off ahead. Deflects back and forth, off the head of Leteplo, and that's going to be a penalty as Leteplo went over the back of Williams. So like I said, 90%, but not a guaranteed chance is what I'm saying. Don't cite me as a 100% source. There's always a chance that someone is actually injured when something like that happens. You never know for 100%, but there's a pattern. Maloney boots it towards the box. Header bounces wide of the net. And they're saying it went off the head of a Brookline player, and so they're giving Braintree the corner. Looked for sure like it went off of Braintree, but, like I said, it doesn't matter what we think the call is. All that matters is what the official thinks the call is. Braintree setting up for the corner. Line drive in, off ahead, as it was over the reach of McGee, but it didn't bounce towards the net. And now Brookline clears it upfield. Maloney kicks it back, gets it up to Smith. Smith past Fernandez on the near side. He manages to get it to Kennedy, who gets it to Smith, to Silva. Silva pass to an open McClory. Shot saved by McGee. And it's cleared away by Lockwood. Brookline wanted an offsides call badly, did not get it, but they did get the save from McGee. Leteplo fighting through. He's sending a leader down the far side. Bochel races and gets it. Matched up with McDonough, fires a shot, and it sails wide. It was a nice leading pass by Leteplo, but McDonough with the get-back speed to keep up with Bochel, and Bochel thought he had a shot there. It was a bit far away and a bit of a tough angle, but And he was shooting from his left foot, but he took a chance. It just didn't work out. Goal kick goes out to Fernandez. Fernandez boots it upfield. Bouncing along. Stern just barely managed to wall off McClory and get it upfield to Lockwood. Lockwood taps it forward, but off the mark, kicked away by Zhu. Off the foot of Stern, kicked forward by Reen, taken by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald boots it upfield. Bouncing along. Leteplo trying to corral it, trying to spin off Fernandez. Fernandez not letting him. Fernandez takes the ball back in a hard collision with Leteplo, and they're letting him play it out. Spinelli takes it away. Spinelli gets tripped up in the box. Oh, this is huge. We got multiple players down on the turf, including Callum Maloney, who is, or Eamon Maloney, excuse me, Eamon Maloney, who is staying down there. And it looks like he is really hurt and he's going to have to come out. But, you know, speaking of what I was talking to earlier, you can tell the difference. Maloney wasn't rolling around on the ground. He crumpled to the ground and just stayed in that one spot. We've got a Brookline player down as well on the near sideline. I think that's Leteplo. I think Leteplo, who collided hard against Fernandez, the collision that I thought was going to draw a whistle, but ultimately didn't as play continued. So we got a couple of injured players, and from the way players are lining up, it looks like this is going to be a PK for Brookline, so a huge play coming up here with 7 minutes and 9 seconds on the clock. Maloney back on his feet, which is good to see. Like I said, you're never rooting for any kind of serious injury to anybody. But if this is enough to take him out of the game, this could be huge for Braintree. Maloney has been doing such a strong job as Braintree's center back throughout the day. He is going to be replaced by James Monroe. But the big thing here is that this is going to be a one-on-one PK matchup. Sebastian Spinelli to take the shot against Yoan O'Mahony. O'Mahony's had a couple of really big plays for Braintree so far today. Braintree desperately needs him to make one. Spinelli had the first goal for Brookline. Can he make it two? Here we go. There's the whistle. Shot missed wide! Spinelli missed it wide! And so a missed opportunity for Brookline there. Tough heartbreaker. O'Mahony kicks this one. It goes off the head of McClory and then off the head of Stern, downed by Cuervo and passed up to Lawrence. Brookline going back on the attack, trying to avenge the heartbreak there. Bouncing. And it's kicked up in the air. It's still in the box. Punched away. Deflected back. Off the crossbar. Still in the box, and it's kicked away. Unbelievable. And now we've got a whistle as O'Mahony is down hurt. They're stretching his legs, so hopefully this is just a cramp. It is 80 degrees outside today, a rare temperature for October in New England. And so this might just be a heat cramp. 6:29 is the mark on the scoreboard clock. And it looks like they're going to keep Owen O'Mahony between the pipes for Braintree. The official speaking with the Braintree coach. I'm not sure if because of the injury they are mandating a substitution or anything like that, but it looks like they're not. And so this is going to be a drop ball for Brookline since play was stopped while play was live. So it's dropped. Lawrence taps it to Bochelle. Bochelle kicks it up the line to Lawrence. Lawrence dribbling, gets around his defender, gets the edge. Crosser walled off by McDonough, but it's knocked out of bounds. That'll be a Brookline corner. Setting up for the corner. It flies in. Headed straight up, stays in the box. They're still fighting for it. Almost cleared, but Stern keeps it in. Crosser goes off ahead and booted away by Smith. McGee comes all the way out and boots it, and that's going to curve out of bounds. Another tough break for the Brookline offense. About 5.5 left in the game. Throw into Silva. Pass, a couple passes up the line. Alcalay kicks it back, downed by McClory. And a scrum for the ball. Recovered by McClory. Passed back to McDonough. Pass to Silva. Silva, a kick across the field. Chased after by Kennedy. Kennedy fights through Dong. Looking for a dribble, jukes out his man. Crosser too high to set up his teammates, and it flies out of bounds. This will be a goal kick. The clock is now frozen on the scoreboard. 5 minutes. We are officially in stoppage time. The only thing that'll tell us when this game ends will be the triple whistle of the official. Brookline still trails by 1. The goal kick off the head of Kennedy. Off the head of Fitzgerald, flies out of bounds. Monroe throws it in up the line, and it's out of bounds off of Reen, and it goes to Brookline. Oh, and they've spotted blood on Reen's knee, and that's going to mandate a substitution. And so Reen is going to sub out in favor of Yoenis Garcia. Throw-in goes back to McGee. McGee winding up and booting it across midfield. Deflects down. Spinelli had it, but it's too crowded. Keeps scrumming for it, and it gets out to Lawrence. Lawrence couldn't dribble through traffic. It's kicked away by Williams. Headed down by Fitzgerald. Cuervo taps it forward. Up to Lockwood, collides, taken away by Williams. Williams gets around Cuervo and passes it, and kicked away. Booted up into the box, and we've got a penalty call far away from the ball, and they're going to assess a card, it looks like, to Wally Lawrence. Or are they? No, it's not. It's not a card. It's just going to be a penalty and a free kick for Braintree. I think that was that attempted slide tackle from behind by Lawrence. And that's going to give the free kick to Braintree from about the 46.5. McDonough kicks it low. Walled. Brookline trying to clear it. Smith had it for a second, but it's taken away by Lawrence, racing upfield too fast, and he collides with Silva. And so what's the penalty going to be this time? And I'm trying to see if they're assessing a card to Lawrence or who they're assessing the penalty to. It looks like Lawrence is going to be forced to come out, which would suggest the penalty is against Lawrence. And indeed, Lawrence is going to come out. That was a very borderline play as both guys were just rushing after the ball. But it's a matter of who gets there first. It's a matter of who's closer to the ball and who gets the ball and who gets the leg. And I think Silva got there just a fraction of a second before Lawrence did, and so Silva got ball and Lawrence got leg, and Lawrence got the card. Kicked up, knocked back, sent to the outside. Rabat lifts it upfield, knocked down by Monroe, but controlled by Spinelli. Spinelli tries to touch pass through, intercepted by Silva. Silva surrounded on all sides, can't dribble out of it, and it's taken back, and Cuervo gets tripped up by Williams, and that's going to be a free kick for Brookline. And Brookline setting up for a free kick from about the 35. And so they're going to have McGee take this free kick, it looks like. Or are they? They've got him flanked by Fitzgerald on his right, and I think Cuervo on his left. He lifts it into the box. They're crashing in, and a collision with O'Mahony is going to draw a Brookline penalty. And this will be a free kick for Braintree as we continue to count down stoppage time. O'Mahony simply gives it to Fernandez, and Fernandez boots it away. Bouncing upfield, Stern going to chase after it, and he gets taken down from behind, and they whistle the penalty on Garcia. And so it'll be a free kick for Brookline, and Brookline knows they've got to move. And so McGee boots it. And we got another whistle. Oh, an injured player down. This is Fernandez. And so Fernandez hobbling off the field. He's been a very effective defensive piece for Braintree today as a wingback. And he's going to be subbed out in favor of Andrew Madden. And so due to a stop during live action, this is probably going to be a drop ball for Brookline. And so the clock's still frozen at 5 minutes. Again, only the officials can tell us how much time is left, as we've had a few stoppages here in the late stages. But Brookline has no time to waste. Dropped for Bochelle. Bochelle boots it to the box. Off a head wide, but whose head was it? And that's going to be a corner for Brookline. I thought it went off a Braintree player as well, and so they're going to give Brookline another big shot at the net. Spinelli setting up in the corner to take this kick. Up in the air, it's a little too high. Headed back forward, and it's going to bounce out of bounds. And that's going to be a goal kick for Braintree. Substitution checking in for Braintree. Number 14, Vinny Reen, back in the game, replacing Garcia. And that might have been Brookline's last best chance. This one kicked upfield, knocked back by Bochelle off the head of Alcalay. Cuervo tries to send it through the middle, but nobody there, and it's booted away by Monroe. Bouncing, taken by Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald trying to turn around against Reen. Reen boxing him out. He's running out of room, somehow gets it upfield, but again it's deflected. Lockwood chases it down, pops it up in the air. Off the head of Madden. Silva collects it, sends it up to Kennedy. Kennedy sending it forward, kicked back by Stern. And there is the triple whistle. And the Braintree High Womps secure the upset win over the Brookline Warriors. The final score, Braintree 2, Brookline 1. That is a tough one for a Brookline team that came into this with a 6th spot in the power rankings, but Braintree, the 29th ranked team, comes through with a big win here, and we're going to see a big change in the power rankings the next time they come around. I can promise you that. Brookline seemed like they were going to be well in control of this game in the early minutes. They scored in the 3rd or 4th minute on a goal by Sebastian Spinelli, assisted by Wally Lawrence, and Brookline seemed to be generating the majority of the pressure. But then Braintree woke up in the mid to late stages of the second half, took advantage of Brookline failing to score on a breakaway off a big save by Owen O'Mahony, and then went back the other way and scored off of a throw-in deflection that was kicked in at point-blank range by Liam O'Driscoll to tie us up going into halftime. And then in the second half, the game winner was sent in by Mike Kennedy, again taking advantage of some Brookline misfortune. A whiffed clearing kick gave Braintree another attacking chance that caught Brookline off guard, and Callum McClory got a very nice pass to the middle to an open Kennedy, who put in what turned out to be the game-winning score. And for Brookline, the what-ifs are going to haunt them. Not just that breakaway chance in the first half that could have made it 2-0, but the potential game-tying shot on a PK that went wide. So that is going to do it. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. If you've got anything you'd like to say and the stream has already ended, you can say it in the comment section down below. Also, be sure to go down below to the description section of the video where you can find a link to the official Venmo account of the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club if you want to help financially support Brookline High Soccer. You can also find a link and phone number for our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Education Foundation. And if you go further down the description section, or if you check out the bottom right corner of your screen, you can see some more information about me. The URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip past all that, you can email me directly with any questions or requests you may have. And remember to follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. Final score, Braintree 2, Brookline 1. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan at Braintree High School in Braintree, Massachusetts. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.